Now let's talk about landslides. This is another kind of movement of the earth or natural disaster which occurs due to the platonic movement of the plates. So, I am sure you must have seen in the news that there is a landslide in Uttarakhand in Himachal Pradesh. Now, what is a landslide? We will study further. So, what are the causes of landslides? There are three major causes of landslides. Before that, we need to understand what is a landslide. When, due to the reasons of the movement of the ground or the plates in the earth, or due to exogenic forces, external factors surrounding the surface of the earth, the land mass, a huge mass of land, it falls or it gets separated from the land mass. This is known as a landslide. So, the three major causes of landslides are ground causes which occur on the ground level, the morphological causes and the physical causes. Now, what are the ground causes of landslides? Now, when the weak, sensitive or the weathered material such as rocks, sand, plants, huge stones, they move or they result in a landslide. This is known as a ground cause of landslide. These adverse ground structures such as joints, fissures, etc., when they result in occurrence of landslide, this is known as ground causes. Now, the other kind is morphological causes. When the ground uplifts, for example, if you see here, due to volcanic activities or due to any kind of other factors such as wind, water or erosion of soil, the ground level, it erupts, it lifts up, it uplifts. This is known as morphological causes. Then there are physical causes. When the prolonged precipitation, an earthquake, volcanic eruption or thawing, they cause a landslide, they are known as physical causes. They affect or they result in a landslide physically. For example, a lot of rain. I am sure that you must have heard that you should not visit mountain ranges or the hill stations during winter season. Why? Because due to a prolonged precipitation, rainfall, heavy rainfall, the land, it gets eroded, the soil gets eroded and then the roots or the piece of land, the chunk of land, it slides down or it results in landslides. For example, earthquakes. As you see here in this image, an earthquake has totally destroyed a settlement in the hilly areas as it resulted in a landslide. Now, we have already studied about endogenic forces. Now, what are exogenic forces? Let's have a look. We studied that exogenic forces are the forces that work on the surface of the earth and it results in transformation of the landforms or the surface of the earth. The exogenic forces, they consist of movement of rivers, winds. They work on the surface of the earth. Now, what are exogenic processes? Exogenic processes, they include geological phenomenon, geological elements and processes that originate externally outside the surface of the earth. Apart from that, they are genetically related to the atmosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere. For example, wind or water, ice, glaciers, etc. Therefore, the process of weathering, erosion, transportation, sedimentation, deposition, denudation, these are all the factors that change the surface of the earth from time to time, but they happen on the surface of the earth. Now, what are the major landforms that are continuously made or destroyed by the process of exogenic forces? These processes are weathering and erosion. What are the major landforms that are formed due to exogenic forces? The landscape is continuously worn away by two processes. One is weathering and the other one is erosion. We will study about these processes in detail. As you see, on the surface of the earth, there are different types of landforms. There is a volcano, plain, mountains, glaciers, lake, etc. How does these landscapes continuously change? So, the first process is known as weathering. Weathering is a process of making up or formation of rocks on the surface of the earth. How does weathering happen? So, there are various factors which result in the process of weathering, such as climatic changes, chemical actions, changes in vegetation, and some other reasons. Weathering is when the huge mountains or land masses, they break and form rocks on the surface of the earth. You observe here that this is a mountain, and due to some of the other climatic or natural vegetation factors, this has resulted in formation of such large stones or rocks. Now, another process is the process of erosion. So, erosion is wearing away of the topmost layer of soil which is present on the lithosphere. This is the wearing away of landscape by different agents such as water, wind and ice. The eroded material is then carried away and transported by these factors such as wind, water and ice, and they eventually get deposited at one place. This process is known as erosion. The carrying away of the topmost layer of the earth is known as erosion, and once it starts to get settled or get deposited, this is known as deposition. And the process of deposition, it creates different landforms on the surface of the earth. We have four factors which result in the process of erosion and deposition. These factors are work of rivers, work of sea waves, work of glaciers and work of wind. These factors result in erosion of the surface of the land and the deposition of it, which results in further formation of major landforms on the surface of the earth. Now let's study in detail what does work of river means. How does river affects the process of erosion and deposition. So, what happens when you see a river? What do you observe? A river is always flowing, the water is moving. This running water in the river, it erodes the landscape. For example, if you see a river which is going or flowing through a city, do you observe that beside the river bed, it is always wet, and the soil along with the river bed, it is also flowing with the running water. This is the process of erosion, and this is how erosion is caused by the work of river. Then we have waterfalls. Waterfalls, when the river tumbles at a steep angle over a very hard surface of rock, it breaks down the rocks beneath it, and this causes or this forms the valley, and these are the waterfalls. For example, if a river is flowing and the river comes or reaches a point where there is no land further, and then it goes down, the running water, it goes down and falls on the bed of rocks which is further below. This is known as a waterfall. This also results in formation of small stones and soil, because whenever the force of this rainfall, it touches the ground it becomes more and more feeble, and this landform is broken further into rocks. Now, there are thousands of small waterfalls around the world. Can you name or list down few waterfalls which are located in India? Now, one such waterfall which is located around the world in Canada and USA is known as the Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls are one of the biggest, huge waterfalls of the earth, and they are located on the border between Canada and USA in North America.